شكرا دولة الرئيس. نبدأ المؤتمر بحديث خاص مع ميغيل أنخير موراتينوس وزير خارجية إسبانيا السابق، صاحب الفكرة والخبرة السياسية الواسعة والضليع بمسائل المنطقة الشائكة، كونه كان ممثل الاتحاد الأوروبي الخاص لعملية السلام بالشرق الأوسط بين عامي 1996 وال2003. من دون ما ننسى طبعا توقف عند التطورات الأخيرة بإسبانيا وظاهرة الأقاليم حول العالم، تحديدا كاتالونيا، إربيل وغيرها. حوارنا الأول بهالندوة مع ميغيل أنخير موراتينوس بتحاوره الإعلامية يمنى نوفل مؤسسة وايت شاتس ورئيس السابق لقسم الأخبار باللغة الإنجليزية بقناة المستقبل.
Off the record stuff. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us as we kickstart with this exclusive. Does it? Hello? Yes. Okay. Thank you for joining us as we kickstart with this exclusive fireside talk with a man of many titles, diplomat, politician, also a member of Spain's Social Workers Party and a member of Congress, His Excellency Miguel Ángel Moratinos.
Thank you.
You wanted, so this is what we were talking about off the record. You wanted to say a few words to start.
Yes. First, let me congratulate Mrs. May Shidiakan Foundation and all my friends, President Soliman, so many friends. Now I feel at home, always in Beirut, in Lebanon. But today, before I took the floor, I have a personal and profound thinking of one of my great friends, Spanish diplomat. She was the Spanish ambassador to Beirut, Mila Hernando. She passed away just a few weeks ago. And the last time I came to Beirut, it was in April, she was still here. I know that she has been always very well respected, and that her work has one of the tremendous impact in the bilateral relation between Spain and Lebanon. So I have to say that today in my first personal intervention, bringing back her memories to Beirut and to Lebanon. Thank you very much.
Yeah. She was, just because I also had the privilege and honor of meeting and speaking with her, and she was very passionate about her cause and the Lebanese youth, so that's part of her legacy as well. So thank you for that. And yes, okay. Welcome to Lebanon, Mr. Moratino.
I'm very happy.
Yes, this is a region you're very well versed in, having been from '96 till 2003, the EU Special Representative for the Middle East. And one of the many highlights was that your support and advocacy for the Israeli-Palestinian peace agreement. And you once wrote, Europe, the United States, and Israel must recognize the state of Palestine, and the Arab world must recognize the state of Israel. So when we read that, I question, isn't diplomacy harder in practice than in theory?
Well, diplomacy is extremely hard, and sometimes people say that diplomacy is an easy mission. That's much better to take tough decisions, threatening with military intervention. And diplomacy is, well, a kind of second track, good intention. But at the end, with no results. I'm not part of that. Of course, diplomacy needs time, needs perseverance, and need, a part of that, a strong political will to achieve your main goal. I remember that when I came for the first time to my mission in the Middle East, and I came for the first time here to Beirut, and I met my dear friend, former Prime Minister Rafik Hariri. I was younger. I'm getting old, but I'm full energy, don't worry.
Or not.
And I was full of energy. I was a bit, let's say, less experienced than maybe today. And I remember that I came with the mandate to promote peace and to achieve peace in 1-2 years. That was my message. And I remember former Prime Minister Rafik Hariri say, well, Miguel, here things in the Middle East are a little more complex. Be patient. Be patient, Miguel. We will go step by step, and we will work together, but don't try to find a way out that is too easy at the beginning, and then finally you are not able to really fulfill. So I learned a lot with him, his advice, his counsels, his direction. And well, I'm still fighting for making this region the vital region in the world. I mean, you are privileged people. Sometimes you don't realize that here everything started. Even the word civilization, even the most sophisticated idea of politics, of philosophy, of religion, of science, of technology, came from this part of the whole arena of the world. So the region is essential, and we are seeing today how is back to the headlines of the newspaper. But at the same time, the region needs a period of prosperity, peace, development, and quietness. 100 years ago of Sykes-Picot, 100 years ago of Lord Balfour writing to Lord Rothschild, 68 years in South family with Roosevelt say all for security, and now again back to define the new rule, the new order in this region. So you need diplomacy.
I know you were saying this yesterday, and I really like this, and I want our audience to hear it. The diplomacy, more than anything, takes a lot of courage, because war is easy.
I think so. I mean, I'm convinced. It's more.
More effort, sure.
You need to be much more courageous to go for peace than to go for war. War is just you push a button, and they say, well, there's no way, no solution. The only answer will be a military response to this crisis. And you go immediately, 1 second, having dinner with your president of China and the president of Trump having a cake. Well, go, bomb. And what are the consequences, my dear friends? The day after, or the week after, or the month after, or the years after, that they are calling the diplomats in order to rebuild what has been destroyed. So maybe I'm naive. I'm not naive, I can assure you. I'm not naive. If the people consider I'm naive, I only have been witnessing suffering, destruction, violence, bloodshed. And I think enough is enough. Why we should be all the time trying to conflict ourselves? Of course, we have to defend our values, our principles, that are the main element, but can be done in a different manner, can be successfully done with different instruments.
I want to talk about the violence and everything you've seen, because one of, I also think one of the main points and focuses during your tenure from 96 till 2003, and one of the focuses of world international relations was September 11, which eventually led to the US invasion of Iraq in 2003, which many critics and analysts argue was the catalyst of extremism in this region. So how do you compare the situation today with the time you were the EU representative?
Well,
Because we're still,
9/11.
not much has changed, or
Nine-
has it gotten worse?
9/11, I have the chance, the coincidence, to watch with President Arafat in his room how the Twin Towers collapsed. I was with him. And I immediately saw in his eyes, and myself with my team, that the world was going to change. When I went back to Tel Aviv, and we have a crisis management meeting, we say, my dear friend, the agenda is going to change. And it changed, unfortunately, because the response from the US administration was the wrong one. Instead of defeating Taliban, Islamic radicalism from Afghanistan, they decided to go to Iraq in a illegal war with no international support. And then there's the open Pandora box to start all kind of extremism.
Right.
So now we have a very, very ugly, very bloody jihadism, extremism, whatever you can qualify.
That has even reached Spain.
And
with
that is
Barcelona,
even in Spain
yeah.
and everywhere, everywhere. We are not going to be safe, any of us. And everything started in Iraqi war. So we all agree that we have to stop uranium. We will come back to that.
Yeah.
But we all should agree only not to open the way for the Iranian to control the region.
We're gonna.
And what happened in Iraq war? They opened the way to go to Baghdad. It was not President Zapatero who opened the way for go to Baghdad. The Shia, no. It was the US administration who did that. So when we talk seriously things, we have to have in mind the consequences of these decisions. So let's first have a common strategy to fight forever extremism.
You speak of.
And that needs a lot of effort, a lot of work, and I think a different strategy.
I know that diplomacy, and you've spoken about the Syrian case a lot, saying that diplomacy should also be the key when we're talking about the future of Syria, which you called the oldest country in the Middle East, the cradle of civilizations, and it remains a key piece in the board of the future of humanity. You know, when you think about Syria today, and maybe an end in sight or no end in sight after 7 years of blood and violence, how do you still propose to move forward?
Well, here we have all of them, all my friend knows me. Here in Lebanon, the majority consider that I'm pro-Bashar.
I heard that too.
No, you don't say that. But the people there, a lot of people,
Yeah.
friends, say, well, you are pro-Bashar. I'm not pro-Bashar. I never be pro-Bashar. No. Let me clarify. Let explain to my Lebanese friend what I am. You don't know what I'm thinking.
Tell
I mean,
us.
Mr. Kerry was a pro-Bashar guy. Eh? Well, no. He tried, like me, to solve things through political dialogue and peaceful solution. So from the beginning of the Syrian crisis, I said, and I think I was right to say, and today I can prove myself, look to my statement 6 years ago, and you go back now to the figures. Okay, I don't care about the way Bashar, I care that he has made his people suffer and he has made atrocities. I am the first to condemn them. But in politics, in this kind of conflict, you have to find solutions. What is the belong of this war?
What is it?
1 million people die, 12 people displaced. Syria
Millions.
destroyed the infrastructure. We create a so-called Daesh that was not existing. Now we are going to be defeated. It's a good belong. Can we be proud of that? Can we be proud of what has happened in Syria? Of course, there are some that could be much more responsible, but my point is not to say, my point was with the Syrian people. Because other people have not suffered. Other people have not died. Other people have not lost his houses.
So what would be
Other
the
people have
solution?
not
What
been
would be the solution,
refugees.
Mr. Martinos, what would be, like, when you think about it, because I know you've written a lot about diplomacy, but the Syrian people and the future of Syria, where
Well,
does it lie?
from the beginning, everybody that have a certain knowledge of Syria and the Syrian regime and the Syrian atrocity and the balance of power between US and Russian Federation and the Turks and the Iranian have to understand that they have to make a deal in order that things could move to the right direction. That's diplomacy. How, from a point you don't want to continue Mr. Bashar al-Assad, but the way to get out him is not to say you have to leave.
Why do you think it
Because
hasn't
he's
been
not
made
going
yet?
to leave.
Why
You
hasn't it
have to
been made
create
yet?
a political transition, the sooner the better, and the people of Syria will decide who have to replace after what has happened.
Why hasn't it happened yet? Why hasn't it happened
Because
yet?
there has not been a clear strategy among the main actors. I mean, there has not been a clear deal between the US and the Russia Federation, to a certain extent, with Turkey. We Europeans, that we have a tremendous capacity to influence, were not able really to be much more present. And unfortunately, well, now we have good news, the defeat of Daesh in Raqqa and in other areas. But what is the diplomatic plan? Have you heard about the diplomatic plan? I mean, if we are in a serious attitude, I will have all the main actors meeting in Geneva for Geneva 3, Geneva 4, Geneva, I don't know, to try to figure out how we are going to really establish a new modus vivendi in Syria. And then, well, Bashar will be there. I don't know. I don't care. We talk too much about him. We have to ignore him, to neutralize him.
Mr.
But we were always putting a precondition. Forget about precondition. When you negotiate, you have to solve problems. And unfortunately, we didn't succeed to that. But again, the question is that now we have a clear tension in the region with Iranian, again, trying to...
I want to bring it to that right now. You
Okay.
know, we can't mention Syria, obviously, without mentioning its neighbor, Lebanon. And I think one of the questions in recent days on everybody's mind is with the resignation of Prime Minister Saad Hariri on November 4th, what role is Lebanon expected to play in the forthcoming future? Because it's, as you said, it looks like it's Saudi Arabia decided to go a bit aggressively on Iran, and Lebanon is, again, caught in the middle.
Well, I mean, it was a surprise, I think, for everybody, and for me also. I have a very good personal relation with the Prime Minister, and he took the decision. I have to trust him. I mean, he has made his position clear that there was such a situation that obliged him to announce his resignation. My first reaction is to respect him and to wait to get more clarification. But it's clear that he's not only directly linked with Lebanon itself. It's a much better, much bigger, and
Right,
much
because people were very
larger,
critical that it happened in Riyadh.
larger consequences of the new tension between Iran and Saudis and the Sunni world in the Middle East. And I think that is something quite serious because, again,
Yes.
when I was referring before, when we started with the Iraqi war, I mean, this extremism, a real extremism, this barbaric terrorism have to be defeated. And so, I mean, I'm the first to support the nuclear deal with Iran. That's good. There is no atomic bomb. We all supported that, and the European Union was extremely instrumental to achieve that essential agreement. But it doesn't mean that during the time Iran can be able to extend their influence and try to change the whole paradigm in the Middle East.
Right, but how do you control its influence?
Well, but that means they have no big control till now.
They've had control.
No, well, no, there has not been control now.
Well, with
There has been, no, I mean, Iran was in Afghanistan, it was in Lebanon, it was in Gaza, it was everywhere.
Right.
So nobody was controlling it. So, because there was not a peace plan, there was no rule of engagement, there was no responsibility. One of the great conservative, but great diplomat, US diplomat is Keegan, Robert Keegan.
Mm-hmm.
He used, at the time of the Soviet Union, two important concepts. One, it was containment. We have to contain the Soviet Union at that time, he was saying, in the bipolar war. But at the same time, he said we have to engage with Soviet Union. So that could be one answer to the Iran. You have to contain Iran, but you have to engage with Iran in order to assume the responsibility.
Where does Lebanon come into factor
well,
here?
Lebanon,
With
unfortunately, you are in the crossroad. I mean, you have succeeded during history to create this understanding between culture, civilization, religion, communities. What I believe myself, I mean, the one I promote the Alliance of Civilization, I think this initiative should be renovated and innovated even much more. But in Lebanon, you have succeeded during history in very good moment to really demonstrate that you can live together, putting your clear framework of what are your objectives. And if the people and community accept this framework, everybody can be, of course, accepted and be part of the political deal. So the equilibrium, and we know in politics in Lebanon more, you know much better than me, is very fragile. Everything that something moves, you are affected.
Right, and people are very divided still.
Well, yes, because
Yes.
you have been suffering a lot. Your own biography, I was asking you last night, no, what is your biography? How has been your life, personal life?
Seeing wars
so
and
how many years you have been saying, waking up in the morning saying, well, today is a nice day, sunny, and I have to go to see my friend with no concern. Or how Mrs. May Shidiak has, they can take a car and not be blown up. So one, you will succeed to get that as a normal day, normal life. That's my message to the Middle East. The time has come for the Middle Eastern people to really take their own future at hand. And if that is to put a stop to Iranian, let's do it.
I want to talk about this because, just last month, the United States imposed new sanctions on Hezbollah and is urging the European Union to follow in its footsteps. So what is the EU stance on this? And do you think gathering international support for an intensified campaign against Hezbollah is difficult?
Has been always because we have to respect the Lebanese own political arena. I mean, Hezbollah is a political party, so of course is...
well, the military wing's been labeled a terrorist, right?
So that have to be discussed with the Lebanese authorities, And the United States, have their own view.
And the EU?
Eh?
The EU?
The EU have to discuss it because, of course, the European Union, I think European Union have to be more engaged on that, because it's what I call the southern thought of our common culture, our common. They don't want to.
No,
they are sabotaging the European Union.
There.
The European Union role, no? I think European Union could be one of your best, let's say, interlocutor for building again the new relationship, internal relationship. Europe and Lebanon is a common history. You cannot understand Lebanon without Europe, and you cannot understand Europe without Lebanon. And unfortunately, people here, they are always looking, with all my respect, to the other side of Atlantic. Atlantic is too far from you. It's too far from you. And the Atlantic now, they are in Pacific. They are not here, but they take decision. No. Talk, engage with your neighbor. You know, there is a quotation I like very much that is, globalization kill neighborhood. Everybody now, we are interconnected. Everybody have interconnected minds. We are here and there. We are in Singapore.
It's about to go again.
Yes,
I don't want you to be
technology.
startled when it does.
Yes, but they are killing neighborhood. They are killing this dialogue. So we prefer to buy some product, of course, from China than to buy product from Lebanon. Or we prefer to really invest in third market bonds in Shanghai
Your message
or
is very-
Hong Kong that
yeah.
to come to the financial place in Lebanon. So we have to recreate our common space of living together. And that has to be done between Arabs and Europeans. There is a need for a new Euro-Arab dialogue that has been lost because people consider wrongly that Europe, we are getting old, we are in declining mood. It's not true. It's the opposite. Never in history Europe has been as stronger as today.
Well, it's experienced as well.
Not only experience, it's our model. If our capacity to respond to the globalized world, how you are going to respond to the globalized world if you don't have a welfare state, or you don't have, economic competitiveness, and you have not been prepared, to adjust to the new
Right.
requirement
Right.
of international
Right.
economy. Europe have done that, and we are not old. We are 500 million people, could be more, decided to run in the new world with a different parameters, but proud of ourselves. But people say, well, you don't have the high technology. Well, I don't know if we have high technology, but we have a lot of universities, like Lebanon, by the way.
Yes.
And when you have science education, that's much, much better than to have oil or gas.
Let me conclude. I want to say in conclusion that 30 minutes is too little time for you, Mr. Moratinos, and we appreciate the positivity, and if every politician was a diplomat like yourself, I think the world would be a better place, starting with Lebanon. So thank you so much for being
Thank you.
with us.
Thank you.
Mr. Miguel Moratinos, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pity.